So this video is to show you how to make a simple homopolar motor. In order to do that, you need a AA cell. It needs to be an alkaline cell, please, not a rechargeable cell. I'll re-explain why in a moment. You're going to need a screw. These screws are self-drilling screws I'm using, which means that they have not quite a sharper point, safer for use with students, so they don't accidentally cut themselves. A neodymium magnet, which has just jumped onto my AA cell, about the size of the AA cell, but it's not too crucial for this version of the homopolar motor because it's sitting on the bottom of the screw, not on the bottom of the cell. There is another version I'll show you in another video where it sits on the bottom of the cell, so if you do get them that size, that helps for the other version. And then a piece of wire. It needs to be copper wire. Don't use any steel or iron because that will be attracted to the magnet and it will just stick and the whole thing won't work. So the reason that it needs to be an alkaline cell is because when you're using this, the wire is effectively going to short circuit the cell. Alkaline cells have a bit of internal resistance. Rechargeable cells have a very, very low internal resistance. If you use a rechargeable cell, you'll end up getting a current that's too high and the wire will start getting hot. And it's best idea not to leave, even with this version, not to leave the wire in contact for too long, otherwise it can get hot. So the way to assemble it is the magnet on the base of the screw, and then the screw touches the base of the cell, and because the screw is made of iron, then it has a bit of induced magnetism, so it will actually stick to the bottom of the cell or battery if you prefer. Be careful when you're using neodymium magnets. I've got a separate video about safety with neodymium magnets. The main thing, if you're working in a school, make yourself a risk assessment, make yourself aware of all the things that could happen, and most of all, count them out, count them back in, so you don't let the pupils walk off with any. Not that they would do that, such a thing. Anyway, the wire, simply touch against the top. When it's hanging vertically, touch it against the bottom, and you should be able to see that spin. There we go. Now, I hold that closer to the camera. No, it doesn't know what to focus on. You can see that spinning. From where I am, looking from above, this is spinning in a clockwise direction. So if I now turn the cell over, actually that wire's got quite hot. We should now be able to get it spinning in the opposite direction. Try and keep that a bit centered. So changing the direction of the current has changed the direction of the motion. That's now spinning in anti-clockwise direction. But if I change the battery, change the magnet into the opposite direction, try and keep that centered so it's not going to wobble too much. Now it should be spinning clockwise again if you view it from above. And there we go. Okay, so I hope you enjoy making homopolar motors. There is another version of the homopolar motor which I've made a video about. Just one last little thing I forgot to mention. If it's not going at all, a little bit of sandpaper to clean your contacts here and here, and to clean the wire. I wouldn't sand down the magnet though, because these neodymium magnets are often coated in nickel, which can cause allergic reactions, so it's probably best not to have some nickel dust floating around. And do check the other video about safety precautions with neodymium magnets, read your own safety and data sheets and make sure you have a risk assessment. Enjoy!